Banquet for, first of all, the 2013 Northwest Oregon Conference champions, but better yet, your 5A state champion. We're gonna go through. I got a few thank yous and things, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Coach Wilson for the freshmen, and Coach Sugiyama for the JV Black, Coach Hant for the JV Red. After we get through those three teams, we're going to take just a 5-minute break. If you are on one of those lower level teams and you need to get home to study, then we'll dismiss you. No worries if you need to walk out and study. First of all, introduce my coaches up here. Most of you know all of them, but some of you may not. Nate Hickok, varsity assistant, and Dave Gogol, varsity assistant. Nate, of course, played for me, so he knows the system. Goats and I played baseball at Portland State together. Brenza's not here. Brenza had an interesting year with his work and such. He gets called away. For those of you who don't know, Coach Brenza is an Oregon State trooper, and he's also a member of the SWAT team. And so he can get called away at a drop of a dime to go out to the middle of nowhere to storm some house. Rich Hannon, the JV coach. Alan Sugiyama, Hannon's the JV Red, Sugi's the JV Black. Brian March, volunteer assistant, helped mainly with the JV Black. Don Wilson, longtime freshman coach. He's got a pinched nerve. He's moving a little slow today. And Clark Farron, who is a volunteer coach as well. So these guys all were invaluable to me, helped me out a great deal. I would like to take a couple minutes to thank their significant others, girlfriends. If they don't have a significant other, their pets that allowed them to come and coach. My wife is not here. She has soccer duties. We're kind of excited because we have 9 days, and hopefully, knock on wood, my daughter will pass her driving test and be able to drive herself to soccer practice. But Jody does all the trip organizing. We probably wouldn't go on an Arizona trip if it wasn't for her, because I'm just not that smart. She does all the travel, she does all the hotels, she does all the vans, she does everything. All I have to do is take the folder from her, go pick up the van when I'm supposed to, be at the airport when I'm supposed to, hand out the tickets. So if you guys ever see her, you should probably thank her, because she's the one that makes those trips happen. Obviously, Randy Ramp, our athletic director, Debbie Bear, our athletic secretary, they do a great deal. Randy gets a little cranky in the springtime because he has to reschedule games all the time, but he's an awesome athletic director. For those of you who don't know, he was the 5A athletic director of the year, so if you see him, you might want to say thank you. Doug and Judy Morales ran the concession stand, got it going, helped with that. Debbie Chamberlain stocked the concession stand. Judy probably got a text from me more than she wanted to, 2 or 3 times a day, asking to send out emails, things like that. See, it would probably be real easy for me to have that, and then I could just send them out when I wanted to, but again, I'm not that smart on a computer. Joseph Katowski did the stats for us, so that was awesome to have those updated all the time. And you parents, I really appreciate your support, your involvement, helping with the Snack Shack, helping with fundraising, helping at the crab feed, the Booster Club baskets. Everything you do is top-notch, and that's why we have a top-notch program here. Josh Munger, where are you, Josh? Josh, right here in the front row. Josh is our manager / video guy / equipment guy / charts. Josh does a little bit of everything for us, and I saw the work that he did for law and football, and law keeps him a little bit more busy, but his work is outstanding, and so I wanted somebody like that to help us out. He did a great job. Most of you that are coming back next year, the older guys, that you have a pretty good shot at going on the trip. You know that we were going to go to Florida. Florida was really, really expensive. Twice as expensive as last time. So we've scratched that idea, and we are going back to Arizona. My wife is already on airfare and hotels and all that stuff, so we will be going back to Arizona next year. Okay? Jennifer Moore, where are you? Jennifer, raise your hand. Jennifer is, I don't know if she volunteered or if Judy wrestled her or what, but she is taking over the summer concessions And so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you're probably more computer smart than I am, and I'm going to give you all three of those schedules if I haven't already. You're going to create some sort of a sign up if you haven't. See? So the summertime is when we make all the money on the concessions, because spring, half the time we don't play here because of the field or the weather, and so please help out with that. All right. With that, I would turn it over to Coach Wilson and the freshman team. Inspirational, and we vote for most improved player, and we get a lot of votes. And this year there was probably, probably 20 kids, maybe more, that got votes for most improved player, and that's always a nice thing when so many kids are getting votes for that. But this year, your 2013 Bowmen baseball most improved player is Nick Gardetto. So at this time, if your team has already got lots of things here. I can't. It's background music.
Side audio, visual technology.
With her side.
Okay, so we'll get going with the varsity here. Probably not going to be a complete shocker to most of you who watch these kids all year. Season recap: 25-6, pretty impressive record. At one time, we were 1-4. I remember being 1-4. I remember pouting in my Arizona hotel room all by myself because my wife was gone. I remember writing down a long list of things that we needed to do better and things that I needed to do better. And we had a meeting in the parking lot right there. You guys remember that? Had a meeting. It was great. It was one of many meetings that we had, and I think it was one of the turning points. I think the other two turning points of our season were when we lost games. After that, when we lost to Sandy in extra innings, I think that was a turning point. I think that was good for us. I think when we lost to Wilsonville, that was a turning point. I think that was good for us. And everything just seemed to fall into place there. So 1-4, you do the math. We finished 24-2. We won 24 of our last 26 games. That's pretty much unheard of. That's quite an accomplishment. Team goals. These guys talked about team goals. They established team goals. They kind of went through. They showed them to us. We gave them a little bit of guidance, and for the most part, I think we hit all of them. This team exceeded all of my expectations. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think we would make a run until next year, and that's a compliment to these guys. It's not easy to lose 8 seniors. It's not easy to go to the semifinals after you came off a state championship season, have a target on your back all year. People want to beat Sherwood, and it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it kind of does matter what sport it is. If it's football or baseball, they really want to beat us. If it's some of the others, they still want to beat us because they get beat so much in football and baseball. So to come back and win the second state championship in 3 years is quite an accomplishment. And I really personally didn't think we had a shot at this until about a month to go in the season. And that's when I started really thinking to myself, we got just as good a shot as anybody, and good things happen. The Arizona trip. It was fantastic. It established good chemistry. That's why we do those things. We could probably spend our money on other things. We could probably have 3 or 4 different sets of uniforms, 3 or 4 different hats. That's not important to me. What's important is getting the kids together. The van trips are some of the greatest times that I will remember forever. And I'm sorry I can't share all of those things with you, but they're lots and lots of fun. And I think that you know, maybe in 10 years or 15 years, these guys will come back and sit down. Maybe they'll share some things with me that went on in the rooms that I'm sure they will remember for the rest of their life. I think this class is no different. This team was no different than the last few that we've had, where these kids generally like to be around each other. They're good friends. They like each other. They want to play for each other. They don't care who gets the credit. Our motto this year was everyone is needed, no one is necessary. And basically what that means is we need every person on the team, and not one person is better than anybody else. And we can do without you. Because if you think that you're so good that we can't do without you, we're going to get rid of you, and we're going to show you that we can do just as well without you. And they bought into that. The accountability factor from player to coach, from coach to player, was probably the strongest in my 25 years as a high school baseball coach in the state of Oregon. And that was a goal that I had. And you senior parents, thank you for allowing me to come into your homes in the wintertime. It was the greatest coaching move I've ever made in my life. And I look back on it right now and I'm thinking, why didn't I do this 25 years ago? The reason I didn't do it 25 years ago is because I just learned about it last winter. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed coming in, talking to the parents, the kids. And I think it was a big reason for our success. All those things I said in the living room that I told you, no, I wasn't perfect. Not by any stretch of the imagination, but I think I was improved. And when I made a mistake, these guys held me accountable, and that's how we got through things. And I think that made us stronger as a team. And the first one was in the parking lot at Arizona. You can be proud of these guys. They are an academic top team. They're the top 5A baseball team in the state in GPA at 3.66. And that is the 7th year in a row that we've been in the top 10, and 6 out of the last 7 years we've been number 1. Must be all those A's they get in PE and weight training. All right, so I would like all the underclassmen to come up. That'd be sophomores and juniors.
That's you, Zach.
You probably heard this analogy. Coach Hannon was kind of echoed it, and I've said this before, and I don't know, it's kind of stupid, but they've heard it before. Stats are like a woman's bikini. It tells a lot, but it doesn't tell the whole story. And they are. Doug Morales is going to tweet that tonight. By the way, I don't tweet. I am a Vine sensation, though. Just ask my daughter. Anyway, we had the stats. Joseph kept the stats. Yeah, we looked at them. We spent a little bit more attention to on-base percentage, things like that. But those things were somewhat important. But you know, the bottom line for us was getting better, and obviously winning games is fun, but we wanted to make sure we were peaking at the right time. So for us, Spencer Clay mainly played on the JV this year. Went to Arizona, got the call up for the playoffs. He did a great job in some key situations for us at shortstop. He's going to have every opportunity to own that job next year, be very valuable, and he is a scholar athlete with a 3.8 GPA. These GPAs that I'm throwing out here are from the winter. Okay. Keegan Lawrence also was a swinger that played JV, went to Arizona, came up in the playoffs. He's an incredible outfielder. He's got incredible speed. Was a very big weapon for us in the playoffs this year as a pinch runner, just like Cyrus was last year as a junior. I think that he scored a run in every playoff game except for one. And so that was good coaching on our part to find the right place to put him in. But lightning speed and he has a 3.4 GPA. Zach Taylor. Zach is a sophomore. He's been on the varsity for 2 years. He started for 2 years. He's been all league at 2 different positions. He was all league at first base as a freshman. He was first team infielder this year as a sophomore. I have no doubt that next year he will be all league at his 3rd position, and probably by the time he's out of here, he will have been all league performer for 4 years, and my guess is at 4 different positions. Like I said, he was first team all-league infielder. He was the number 9 rated player in the NWAC. He had some big hits this year. I know there's a lot, but the one that sticks in my mind is at Hermiston. For those of you who made the trip over there, I'm sure you will remember that. He will definitely be a Player of the Year candidate, and he is a Scholar Award winner with a 3.8 GPA. Jake Reimer. Jake was a pitcher, was an outfielder, was a DH, little infield. Did a little bit of everything for us. Jake's one of these guys that the communication thing is good with him. He comes in, he talks to me a lot. Always has ideas how he can make the team better, and he talks to me about a lot of different things, and I appreciate that. He's willing to do anything to help the team out, and players like that are invaluable. He was the first team all-league DH. He's the first team all-state DH. He's the number 14 rated player in the NWAC, and he is a Scholar athlete with a perfect 4.0 GPA. Riley Moore. Riley was 10-0 on the mound this year. He was our ace of the first game. He pitched the first game of every series. He threw 3 out of the 4 playoff games. He's the winning pitcher in the state championship game. He won a big game last year as a sophomore in the quarterfinals, I believe. He can play shortstop. He can play second base. He has 4 different pitches, and when he's on, he's tough. I don't even think I could hit him, and I was pretty good. He is an all-league first-team pitcher. He's an all-state first-team pitcher, and he was the number 1 vote getter in the league. Don't ask me how he didn't get pitcher of the year. And he was the number 1 vote getter in the state at 5A for a pitcher, which is pretty impressive. And he is a Scholar athlete with a perfect 4.0 GPA. Get him to quit throwing 30 pitches in the first inning, will be good. All right, thanks. All right, seniors.
Will you take a video of stuff? I just want to make sure if anything happens to this, I want to make sure the staff can see. So, how do I do it?
Yeah, right, TJ?
Can I do it now? No, just do side. Just do side. I just want to make sure if anything happens to this, Dad gets to see him.
Okay, so you're seniors. You're seniors for 2013. These guys did a fantastic job being leaders. They each kind of lead in their own way. Some of them are rah-rah guys. Some of them are lead by example. Some of them are guys that just pat you on the butt when you come into the dugout. Some of them are by their work ethic, but they all lead in their own different way. I didn't understand this, or I didn't realize this until I read the article in the Tiger Times that most of these guys have been playing together since 4th grade, and they won a championship back then, and now that kind of makes sense how they molded this team together. TJ Hayamoto was one of our reserve outfielders this year. He didn't play as much as he wanted. TJ has an incredible work ethic. He has an incredible attitude. He never complained. He worked on his game all season. He worked as hard as anybody in the cages. He sweats a lot, which I didn't know that until the other day. And he's a Scholar athlete with a perfect 4.0 GPA. Jordan Morales played some third base for us this year. He got off to a bad start. He severely dislocated his finger in practice. He wasn't quite sure that you're supposed to use your glove to catch the ball, not your bare hand. So he hurt that 2 or 3 days before he went to Arizona, which was really bad, but he was able to go with us. Took him a while to get back into the groove. Another kid with amazing attitude and work ethic, never complains, just keeps on grinding, and he is a scholar athlete with a 3.75 GPA. Logan Dix. Logan played some second base for us, DH for us a few times, was a very valuable role player. He also worked his tail off in the batting cages, had a couple of huge pinch hits for us during the season, did whatever he was asked of him, never complained. Scholar athlete, perfect, 4.0 GPA. You see why we're number 1 in the state. Yeah. Smart kids. Joey Chamberlain. Joey was injured all last year from football. Came back strong for us on the mound. He was our closer during the regular season. Joey came in some tight spots, really tight spots, and it seemed like he always worked his way out of those situations. One of those kids whose name was brought up multiple times in the winter meetings. Who do you think are the leaders on this team? Joey. Which one? Joey Chamberlain. Okay? Why? And then they would tell me why. And that was a reoccurring theme. And so I think that's something that you should be proud of, Joe, that your peers think you are a leader, and I think you did a great job. His demeanor is pretty much the same. Doesn't get too up, doesn't get too down. Perfect for a closer. He also DH, had a couple of big pinch hits for us. Had a nice, got to pinch hit the championship game, got a walk, that was huge. Milwaukee comes to mind. He got a big hit there when we were struggling, very much so. And he is a perfect 4.0 scholar athlete. Anthony Sherwood. Anthony was an outfielder for us, was a pitcher, didn't pitch too much. Pitched a little bit in the beginning, was at every morning practice, so sorry Anthony, I made you get up early all the time. This team is loaded with kids that just do what you tell them to do. And you as parents, I'm sure you don't see that quite as much as I do. Anthony kind of defines that. Just does whatever you ask of him. He played very, very good defense out in right field. That's where he was most of the time. He gets a good jump on the ball. He throws well. For those of you at the Redmond game, I've had a lot of people ask me that, scores tied, they hit that fly ball to right field. It's not real deep, but it's deep enough, and they don't send the guy. And Anthony hits cutoff man just perfectly, and that's huge. I don't know how you don't send him. The reason he didn't send him is because if you didn't get to the game early, when we were throwing in our infield, outfield, every single one of our outfielders was throwing seeds to home plate, and Anthony was one of those one-hoppers right there, boom, boom, boom. And that coach had that in the back of his mind, and that throw was right on line. I'm sure that would have been an out, but he didn't send him. So he did a great job out there. Another scholar athlete, 3.75 GPA. Colton Waker. Colton was the second baseman for us. In my opinion, Colton is probably the most improved player in the program over the past 2 years. We went into summer 2 years ago, and I told him, I said, if you can't turn a double play, you're not going to play. You're not going to play second base. And he was listening to that. He was listening to that. And that summer before his senior year, he started really getting good at that. Right now, I think he turns the double play at second base better than anybody we've ever had, or just as good as anybody we've ever had. And I think this year's team probably turned more double plays unofficially than any team I've ever had, and that was awesome. He's a leader of the infield, one of the seniors who held me accountable this year, and I thank you for that. And he was an honorable mention All-League infielder. Cyrus Mooney was our center fielder. He has great speed, gets good jumps on the balls, he throws well. Had multiple great catches this year. But obviously the one I'm going to remember for a long time is the ball he caught in the first inning of the state championship game. That was phenomenal. When that left the bat, I was thinking, oh God, we're down 4 already. So for us to survive that, have minimal damage in that first inning was huge, and that catch was part of it. Another true infielder, not only of this team, he is a leader of the school. Okay, he's very involved in multiple facets of Sherwood High School. His peers look up to him. He's a second-team all-league outfielder, and he has a 3.2 GPA. Logan Ballarche, 2-year starter for us in left field. Another guy with great speed, runs down balls very, very well, throws very, very well. Speaking of great catches, probably a game changer in the state championship game. That ball, he came all the way in. And we had to play deep with the wind and with the way that these guys were stroking the ball, and that was probably one of the plays of the game. Without a doubt, and there was 3 or 4 of those. He worked very hard in the cages, became a really good hitter for us this year. He's a first-team all-league outfielder. He's an honorable mention all-state outfielder. He's the number 13 rated player in the NWAC, and he's a scholar athlete with a 3.6 GPA. Alex Barzy. Alex was our third baseman. He had a spectacular year, both offensively and defensively. I'll be the first to admit, I never thought he would be able to hit varsity pitching. His swing, if you've looked at it, is not fundamentally sound, but it works. He hit .419 this year in league. He hit .380 on the year, which are incredible numbers. He had huge hits throughout the playoffs. Hermiston really got the big hit that got us back into the thing, and obviously you were there. He had 4 RBIs in the state championship game. He was the player of the game in the state championship game. He's a first-team all-league infielder. He's the number 12 rated player in the NWAC, but I am more proud of him for how he's grown as a player. I'm more proud of how he's grown as a person than I am as a player in these last 4 years. And he had a perfect 4.0 GPA. Thought I was going to make it. Jake Urback, catcher, leader, motivational speaker, comedian, motto maker. We're Sherwood, we don't die. He does it all. Jake is the best catcher in terms of receiving, framing, and blocking that I've ever had. He works at his game all the time, and he's his own worst enemy. He's his toughest critic. He asks questions all the time. How can I do this better? How can I get better? He truly loves the game of baseball, and I'm very, very happy he's decided to play baseball at college. He's going to go over to Blue Mountain Community College in Pendleton. He's probably going to gain about 15 or 20 pounds because his grandma's over there and she's going to feed him. I'm going to miss having him around, but some of you that have been around, maybe just law knows, but had a kid a few years back, Brian Eberhardt. And Jake's in Brian Eberhardt's mode, and in about 10 years, Jake and I are going to be breakfast buddies somewhere. I don't know where it is, but we're going to go down somewhere. We're going to meet about 6 o'clock in the morning because him and I are the only ones that are up early, and we're going to have breakfast, drink coffee, and solve all the world's problems. I'm going to miss having him around, but I'm looking forward to those breakfast dates. He's a second-team all-league catcher, and he carries a 3.0 GPA. Joe Balfour, varsity player for 4 years now, best athlete on the team in my opinion. He had arm issues early on. We moved him to first base, we saved his arm. Another good decision. We chart our pitchers. We make sure that we're protecting kids' arms. I'm not going to throw somebody 140 pitches to win a game. He was our closer last year in the playoffs, did a phenomenal job. We moved him to closer this year because he said he was ready to go, and in our 4 playoff games he had 2 wins and 2 saves. He led our team with a .444 batting average on the year. He's the first team NWAC first baseman. He's an honorable mention All-State first baseman. He gets to play in the State All-Star Series next weekend at Goss Stadium. He carries a 3.3 GPA, and he's going to go to St. Martin's and Lacey to play his college ball. Alright, so now we're going to get some awards to get voted on. First one is our most inspirational player. I don't really think we need to vote. It really wasn't close. That's Jake Urback. We had 6 people give votes for most valuable player. That's always a good sign when everybody thinks you've got that many good players, and we did. We had that many good players. 2 guys tied, and I think they're both deserving. This year, our most valuable players are Riley Moore and Joe Balfour. So I got my senior awards that I give to these guys every year. I started this my first year here. For those of you who don't know, the story behind that is when I was a senior, my high school coach gave me a little statue like that, and it basically had my name on it, and it said thank you or whatever. I can't remember what it said, but I still have it, and it meant a lot to me, and so I'm hoping it means something to these guys. And so every year it says, we put their nickname on there, what most of the time it's what I have dubbed them, their nickname. Sometimes it's what they want on there. And so these are up here for them, and it says, thanks for your hard work and dedication to the program. And I'm gonna give those to them as they come up. But you know, the other thing I learned this winter, going to this clinic and listening to people talk, was, you know, the home visits, but the other thing was, you know, challenge your kids to, your seniors to talk at the banquet, to talk about what the program meant to them. And so I've challenged these guys to do that. I told them they didn't have to come up here and do that if they didn't want to. At one point, there was only 2 guys that were going to come up here, and now I think they're all going to come up and say something. And so I'm going to turn it over to them, and then as they come up, I'll give them their senior award.
All right, so this winter, the seniors were all challenged to come up here and speak to you guys about what Sherwood baseball has done for us. And so, you know, what has Sherwood baseball done for me? Sherwood baseball has strengthened my friendships and helped me learn how to work with others. This taught me about leadership, and also to never be afraid of failure, because no matter what, I knew I would always have about 20 guys in the dugout that would have my back. Sherwood baseball gave me something to look forward to every day, going out and working hard to achieve our one common goal. And this is funny because, you know, we all go out to practice and we're all joking around in our stretching lines, and you've got the guys like me and Zach and the parent, Joey, that are all focused up. We need to be serious. We're going to get in trouble. And then you got guys like Waker and Varsity, whose voice just echoes over the whole baseball field. And we'd see Stroh or Hick or Gogs coming over, and we'd get, shh, focus up, focus up. And then sure enough, they'd start cracking jokes with us, and next thing you know, me, Zach, and Joey were out the window, and we were all laughing and having fun. It taught me to hold myself and my teammates accountable and to always give support when needed. Sherwood baseball has taught me to do the little things because in the end, it really pays off big. It has taught me to not worry about things I can't control. Colton, what are the 3 things you control out here?
Attitude and effort.
We've been preached that so much over and over and over by Coach Frenza, who's not here, but Sherwood baseball has taught me that I can control myself, my attitude, my effort that I give, and the body language I put off. The coaches I've had throughout my Sherwood baseball career, and that's all my coaches. Coach Doug Morales, midget federal state champs, undefeated season. Still remember that. That practice game doesn't count. Coach Ty Dix, 8th grade, really getting me ready for high school with those intense workouts after our practice. Those are great. I still remember you are the all-time champion shoving grapes in your mouth, so congrats to you. Coach Randy Rutschman for all of our small talks and trying his best to answer my confusing questions. Coach Wilson for letting me pursue switch hitting and really helping me with that. Coach Hannon, who's not here right now, but Coach Hannon for telling me to always play relaxed and believe in myself. He never really yelled at us that JV year. The one time he yelled at us, we had a practice with Varsity, and we just played terrible. And we were all scared to death of Hannon because you've heard him speak, he's loud. And he comes up to us and yelled at us for not being relaxed and having fun. So, he taught me to really just play baseball. Coach Hickok for always listening to me complain about the terrible pitching practice, the terrible pitchers. Sorry, I didn't like your pitching. And he always listened to me and helped me with my swing even though I wouldn't shut up. Coach Shugi for his super fun workouts at 6 a.m., all you pitchers know what I'm talking about. And to Coach John Strohmeyer for coaching us all and helping us make our dreams come true. You have all pushed me to be the best baseball player and man that I can be, and I am truly thankful and appreciative for what Sherwood baseball has done for me.
I'm going to match that around, but so I have been a part of Bowmen baseball over the last 4 years, and my entire high school career has taught me a lot of things that has come with many skills that I can take way beyond baseball into my everyday life, and it's taught me communication. And lack of communication on the field can cause confused teammates, which translates to confused parents or maybe confused boss. Time management is also something you learn to become good at while playing baseball. Being a part of a team and being held accountable, responsible for showing up every day and showing up focused is something that you would use in life for your job. And playing baseball was just simply fun. Every year I think I enjoyed it more and more. I feel like I kept finding a more unified team as the years went on. I really feel like I feel like this year our team was extremely close and everyone had each other's backs no matter what. And playing in the program was so fun because even though we had to endure the late season practices when it got hot and it was unusual heat, it was 70 degrees and we weren't used to it, and water was unheard of. I always remember we did it as a team, and I remember me and Jacob Burback would be dreading our practice plan the entire day through school. We'd pass by in the hall several times and look at each other and say, "Ready to go get heat stroke?" And I always remember Jacob saying we're going to suffer as a team, but even when we did suffer as a team, it was never that bad. I always had fun playing for this program. This program has also taught me a little something about bunting, and it's that you locate before you vacate. And if you did end up, unfortunately, vacating before you located, you soon were vacating to the 380 fence. But maybe that's why we're champions, I don't know. And I know that being a Bowmen baseball player has not only made me a great athlete, but it will help me in life whether I know it or not, because I have learned about responsibility, accountability, and how to become a good teammate through the entire process of becoming a champion.
This program has meant a lot to me for the past 4 years, in the sense that it's taught me something that I will apply in the future. To me, this program has made me fully grasp the concept of the word team, I believe. A team can do so much more than the individual from my experience. A team gets things done quickly and efficiently and much better than an individual. It's opened my eyes to how much and how far a team can go rather than an individual. It creates trust within each other and chemistry with others too. The team has the potential to surpass high expectations set out by others. This new understanding of the concept team that I've learned through this program will always mean something more, and it will be a concept that I will hold forever. And I thank the program for that.
I'm going to start off in an unusual way and share my least favorite part about baseball. I had this newfound ability to show up to everything 15 minutes early, no matter what. I really wish that wasn't true, but Sherwood has taught me if you're 15 minutes early, you're never late. But other than that, on a serious note, I have learned a lot about being a person and a man. I think I'm a better person being part of the baseball program. I'm so thankful for all the coaches and Don's great advice of hit the ball really hard. I think taught me that you can't have too much fun, that you can't, he just likes to hide it. Mart's taught me a lot of things I can't really talk about. Wow. Sugi has taught me that you can't wait at Walmart for your teammates because you might be a little late and have to run back. And Stroh's taught me a lot about a variety of tasks like making fire pits and going on Craigslist. I'm very grateful for things like that. And I'm just really happy to be part of the baseball program at a time in my life.
So baseball's been a really important part of my life, especially over the last 4 years. I've developed a lot of close friendships with my teammates, and I'm sure a lot of us will stay in touch over the years, even though we go our separate ways. I think one of the most important things that I've learned during my time with Sherwood baseball is how to be a team player. As important as it is in sports, I think it's even more important as a life skill. And as we go off to college and experience the world outside of Sherwood, we will always have to work with other people. I think that baseball and the other sports I played have prepared me for those experiences. The past 4 years of just hanging out with my friends and playing baseball and winning a state championship have been super fun. And even though we're all moving on to bigger and better things, I'm sure we will miss those times and have fond memories of our high school glory days. And I want to thank Stro and the coaches for just letting me be a part of the program.
Alright, so what Bowman baseball means to me. So first off, I think I'm really just going to remember all the memories that I've had over the past 4 years. I still remember all those, I'll always remember those car rides in Arizona with Coach Stro and Coach Ack when he was here. And there's a lot of life lessons that were learned on those car rides. And so also I remember my sophomore year, we were playing Franklin and there was like a fan that got out of control. I remember puffing his chest up and going into swamp mode there. And I remember that was pretty funny. And of course Stroh's post-game talks, the good ones and that. So, it's taught me a lot about discipline and detail. I learned that the smallest things matter, and to be successful you have to be able to execute. Everyone has to do their part, and you may change rules 2 to 3 times during a game, and you always have to be ready, and that's really what I've learned, that things can change, and you just have to adapt. It's built a lot of confidence within me. Every team is different from year to year, but they're really the same. So in all the teams I played on, I always went into every game with the confidence that we're going to win. And playing Bowman baseball is just an expectation. It's taught me to never quit. I think back to a bunch of games where we were overlooked, and you can just see how the playoffs went and how that turned out. And we hunted every game, and we eventually came out on top. Just like Jake says, we're sure we don't die. So really I just want to say thanks. Through Bowman baseball I have played on some great teams with great leaders and players. And I'm thankful for the lessons I have learned that I will apply through my life. Playing for these coaches has pushed me and raised expectations for me, but also as a team. You coaches have taught me the game of baseball, which is going to be a huge help going and playing college next year. I've made some great friendships with coaches and teammates that I will always have. I'm grateful for the parents who supported us from 3rd grade to here. I still remember waking up at 8 a.m. on a Sunday to go play, and I thank you guys for that. I realized the sacrifice the coaches, parents, and players made over the 10 years, and that's really why we came out on top this year and why we had so much success in high school. So thank you.
I kept mine really short and sweet. I just want to say thanks to all the coaches and all the parents that always came out to the games and supported us. Coaches taught me a lot. Sherwood baseball has been an important part of teaching me great work ethic, and I really learned how to become a great team member through Sherwood baseball. It's taught me a lot about respect. We're really one of the most respectful teams out there, and I'm proud to be a member of the program. Really thankful that I was able to be a part of it.
Alright, I don't have much, but I just remember in youth baseball and all these guys, all these seniors, and most of them at least, playing in youth, and it's crazy to think that we made it all this way, and now we won the state championship our senior year, and it's just really exciting. I know we've heard about it a lot, but the accountability thing, I think I agree with Stro that it was definitely the best decision he's ever made. Because I remember it was pretty hard to approach him, really hard actually. So it's taught me about discipline, hard work, and sacrifice. A lot of our success this year came from the sacrifices everyone made for the team. No one did one thing, like getting down sack bunts and looking before you're vacating, and you want to get it down and make sure the other guy's safe. So it taught me to play and do everything to the best of my ability for the team and not for myself. And I just want to thank the coaches and the parents and everyone that's supported us through all these years. Thanks.
So baseball has taught me a lot, not only about the game, but also just about life in general. It brought me together with a lot of my friends who I have been friends with for a long time, and it also introduced me to a lot of new people that I can meet through baseball. It also taught me a lot about teamwork and dedication, time management, managing school and sports, and make sure to get all my schoolwork done before I had to go to sleep and go to school the next day. It also taught me about setting goals as a team and striving for those goals. And just like Alex said, it taught me a lot about sacrifice and doing what's best for the team and not just what's the best for yourself.
These past 4 years, the best thing that this program has taught me is that with hard work, discipline, and dedication, anything is possible. I love how we can all gather around each other, create a common goal, and work together to achieve it. Stroh's taught me how to be selfless and how giving yourself up for your team is more heroic than hitting a home run, and that's something I didn't think about before. He taught me how to play the game the right way and how to respect it also. I'm thankful for all the time and hard work he's put into the program along with all the other coaches. You've taught me so much, and I'm never going to forget this year or this program.
This program has taught me a lot about not only how to play the game of baseball, but to play it right with class and respect. And I know we kind of joked around how Stro says respect the game, but I kind of took it serious because there's some teams that we play that I'm really glad I'm not playing for them because we have a great program here. And I was not always a starter or played in every game, but that wasn't my role, and I learned that at the beginning. And I learned that when everyone plays their role to the best of their ability as a team, they'll be successful. And we couldn't have been any more successful this year, which shows.
We succeeded because of our team leadership, unselfishness, and because of our great coaches. And our coaches are great because of how they demand hard work, team baseball, and giving it everything you got, which is why this program stands above other programs in the state. And I'll never forget the opportunity to play for it. Real quick, we've got a couple things for our coaches over here. We can't thank you guys enough for all you've done for us, each and every one of you, and any coach we've had out here. You really taught us a lot, and we're truly grateful, and we'll never forget the lessons that you taught us. So we got some pictures for you guys here, state chairs. We're sure. Says 2013 5A state champs, we're Sherwood, we don't die.
Wow. The guy who said he did this, he said that, the first couple of years there weren't very many people, and my guess is that word's going to kind of travel that maybe you shouldn't have left. That was spectacular. I think you guys, please give these guys a round of applause. That's not easy to do.
I'd like to thank Bert Mooney for all the videoing.
Oh, yes.
Because looking through that lens the whole time, trying to follow the ball, he did an exceptional job, and he kind of gave of himself, because he didn't have the opportunity like the rest of us just to watch it. He was having to stay on that, and I've watched the videos more than once, as Colton could tell you, and I really appreciate all his hard work and dedication.
So the bar's been set pretty high for you juniors for next year. Like I said, I did not mandate that they do this. All I really wanted them to do was, make sure that they shared that with the parents, and I kind of wanted a copy of it if they weren't going to say it out loud. But that was spectacular, and I hope that that's what our program is about as well, is preparing kids for life after baseball, after Sherwood High School. And I feel real strong that these guys are all going to be real successful, and when they go into a job interview, they're going to do a fantastic job. So that's all I have. We'll hang around for a little bit, but thanks for coming. I appreciate all your support. Debbie.
In these envelopes, everybody's got a name on it. All the players have an 8x10 of the same picture, so make sure you pick it up.
Thank you. Make sure you tell everybody to
Number one, guys, hold up your fingers.
2, 3.
I love you all.
Alrighty.
No, more. 5 minutes. You're gonna miss this. 5 minutes.
Front and center there? Yes. Okay. You want to be on the table? No, I'll just get you. I'll just stand on the table. So you're up higher?
Okay, silly picture.
No, wait. One for the newspaper, so make sure you can see the camera.
All right, Mom, get one more. Right now.
Here's the Stro look.
Can we get to see your parents up here real quick?
I don't know what I did.
Joe, coming out.
All the parents all at once?
Yes, always see your parents.
All of us? All of us? You mean? Okay. I would have to have
Just a pair. Just a husband. Do 3 rows?
Are you coming on tonight?
Can I get in front of you guys?
Thank you. No, but that's not fair.
Yeah, we can squeeze in.
I'd rather be.
Hold on, just still. Right over here. Not right over here.
Angela.
Yeah.
Right here?
You guys are more difficult than us.
Stay right there.
Can you get us all in?
1, 2, 3.
Stroke face.
Was it not here?
This is the last time we're going to be together as a group, and
Great,
some
now
of
we're
us,
gonna
as we
cry.
get into our advanced age, a little more gray hair, we're getting a little more sentimental. And over the last weekend, got to thinking about this group of seniors in 2013. We moved here in Sherwood, I think in '99, and I got to know some of you guys way back then. And between myself, Jeff, Ty, Clark, Terrence, Larry, and if I've forgotten anybody else, forgive me, we've all kind of watched you guys grow up, and it's an amazing thing you guys have done as seniors. And I wanted to say a couple things. I think Jeff might want to say some things, Ty, any of the other coaches. Again, it's kind of a bittersweet thing. It was so nice to see you guys finish what you did on Saturday, but on the flip side, I have nowhere to go next spring season, so. But
You can come watch her.
yes, that would be awesome. But Jeff, over there.
Okay, it kind of hit me during your graduation that, first of all of you were very special to me as individuals and as a group. But it hit me during graduation that there's a better than fair chance that I may not ever see one or two of you ever again. And that made me sad. Not that my baby's growing up and moving out or whatever, but the idea that you guys are all such great kids. And I'm so impressed by all the things that you guys have done as individuals, as people, not just as baseball players. But that made me sad to think that maybe I may not see one of you again. Hopefully I will. Hopefully there'll be different reunions. You guys will come back in the summer and go swimming, things like that. So, I've always tried to create a house where we had a swimming pool, we had batting cages, a fishing pond, whatever. We live in the country, so we didn't have next door neighbors, so we used that to draw people there so our kids would have somebody to play with. Through that, my kids have met a lot of great individuals. I can look back at coaching. There was one game in particular at Tater Field. We were playing McMinnville in a league game, and McMinnville's very good, 6-18 this year. And we were playing against them. We're 10 years old. It was during the middle of our undefeated in league and undefeated in all tournaments. It's a league game. We're down 9-1 or 9-0 in the first inning. We came back. As coaches, we're just like, well, here's the one, But we come in, all of the players there are like, we've got this. We're going to win this. We've got this. And it's like, wow, that's impressive. As 10-year-olds, it's like, we're going to win this game. We won the game 10-9. As we're walking out, we're shaking the other coaches' hands from McMinnville, and they're like, that's impressive. You guys are amazing. Well, it was you guys. And I know not all of you maybe were on that team, and it's talked about a lot, but there were a lot of other great teams there too, and I maybe didn't get to coach. I think you're the only one I didn't coach in the group, and I wish I had coached you and gotten to know your family better, but I just want you all to know that I think each and one of you are very special individuals.
Right there. Anyway, I'm just so proud of all you guys. Most of you I've known for several years, and several of you I've gotten to coach over the years, and just such a great group of young men, and I just so proud of all of you. I'm so excited for you guys in your next chapter. It's one of those things where there's a lot of emotions that have been going on with a lot of people over the last week or two, and my emotion is just joy. I mean, you guys are such a great group of kids. You don't realize how special you are. But anyway, I want to thank John also this year for the changes that he made and committed to himself and to this team. I think part of who these guys are and what they did this year is partly because of the success that you had with some changes you made. So that's all I have to say.
I want to add one more thing before Doug gives his great inspirational speeches. Charlie Paul isn't here. He was a really big part of, I think, our season this year. And he was a big part of being in this group and another good kid. And I thought that was worth it.
So, Mr. Strohmeyer, you started this year off with this whole new philosophy, and you kind of broke ground with the whole senior meeting thing. And I wasn't sure what to read into the whole situation as far as picking us to go first. So we were a little, feeling a little weird about it, but it ended up being a great meeting, and I guess I kind of want to turn the tables on you a little bit. There's some things I've watched these kids, Colton, since he was in T-ball, and I really dig the whole thing. As a high school senior, you get to will something to your school or to your buddies or something. And yesterday, as I was doing my yard work and being a good husband, I got to thinking about the seniors. Again, like Jeff, I look back at all my little pictures. I had a chance to coach every one of these kids except TJ, which is frustrating because I love Terrence and I love Marta, and somehow it slipped through the cracks. But the rest of you guys, I think for a few years I got to write Colton off on my taxes because I had it for every sport. It was amazing. But I put together a little list, and this was funny. The first thing I want to mention was the very first game this year. We were walking up to the field and someone said, "Man, I work in an office with some Wilsonville parents, and they're doing senior-led workouts all winter long because they hate you. They're coming after you." And again, the parent goes, "Are our seniors going to do anything like that?" And another parent said, No, that's just not them. They're just not leaders." And I remember for years, Jeff and Clark and Ty and I used to talk about, "Gosh, we need a leader. We need a leader." I think last Saturday I realized that there's about 12 of you leaders. I think every one of you guys led in your own way, and it took us 4 or 5 knuckleheads 12 years to figure it out. But I thought that was a great way to start the season and finish the season. But John Strohmeyer, to your baseball program, I will, on behalf of Joseph Balfour, his quick wit and his comedic timing. And that's specifically, I've talked to Joe, I think, twice in my life. I've had him on my team every year. Quite literally, in 4th grade, I picked up the phone, "Hey Joe, you play baseball, Mr. Federal, blah, blah, blah." First practice, shook hands, said hello. I didn't talk to Joe again for the last game on that Sunday, the championship game. And this will be a little faster. This story is amazing. You gotta listen to this. So it's a championship game in Gladstone, playing against Gladstone, and places, there's 500 people there. And mind you, these guys are 4th graders. They got the music blaring, and the Gladstone kid, Austin Marsh, he's about as big as Mo back in 4th grade. Just as mean and nasty. Well, he comes up to the plate, and the PA announcer announces that it's his birthday. Oh man, so here's Austin Marsh, he's all jacked up, juiced up, ready to go. And me being the great pitching coach that I am, I signal into Jacob to go, "Joe, we're going to start you off with a changeup because this kid's going to swing out of his shoes." Unfortunately, the young man went back, saw the changeup, hit that ball. I think it landed in Camas, Washington. For a 4th grade, I was amazed. So that place went nuts. 500 people screaming and yelling. And we got the last out. We all come back to the sideline, and we tell the kids, "Hey, relax, don't worry, don't worry." 11 little kids go back to the dugout. There's one guy standing there by the sideline. He kind of walks up to me, looks around, and I don't think we should throw that pitch again to him again. That's a good one, Joe. I'll write that. And I think about 3 years later, we talked about some Raider football, and that's been the extent of my conversation with Joe. Anyway, on behalf of Logan Ballershay, I bestow and will upon Strohmeyer and the baseball program your incredible high standard for yourself and your team. I can't tell you how many great things I've seen you through the years. You expect 110%, and even when you give 110, you're still irritated that you can get to 111. I don't know how you made that catch at Hermiston. I know that we talked about catch at the state championship game. You don't even see that catch without the catch at Hermiston. You went right, you went left, you went forward, you went backwards, you got a hot dog. I have no idea how you made that catch. amazing catch, and I will that to your high standard to your program. Mr. Strohmeyer, on behalf of Alex Varsity, and this is going to be just one word, and it's pretty simple, your toughness. Strongest willed. He's an incredible young man, and I will that toughness to your program. Mr. Strohmeyer, on behalf of Joseph Chamberlain, I will to you his competitive fire. Joe's a very soft-spoken, very handsome young man. And spending the time with him, he's a great young man. But there's also something, if you look deep into his eyes, he's got a bit of a fire in his belly. And I'm so glad you referenced that walk at that game, because that was an important walk. There was kind of a teetering moment there where they may have gotten out of that inning. And when he got that ball forward, he tossed that bat, and he did a little fist bump, and there was this look of determination on his face. I don't want to be in another colored uniform going against Mr. Chamberlain. So. On behalf of Mr. Dix, I would like to will his grind. Logan Dix, for the last 6 years I've been associated with him, is the first guy off the field and the first guy onto the field. I don't care if the score was 10-0, or if he only played one inning, or whatever the situation was. He grinded for 7 innings, and I absolutely will that to him. On behalf of TJ Haymoto, if you've ever seen TJ smile, I don't know how you could have a bad day after watching TJ Haymoto smile. It is absolutely like a warm blanket on a cold day. Probably not the most manly thing, I apologize. I want to have other kids like TJ that absolutely have the joy and love for their life and what they're doing. I will to Mr. Strohmeyer and his baseball program on behalf of Cyrus, again, one word, class. And I say that because the Redmond game, that pitcher there threw 200 pitches for all I know. He was amazing. It was an amazing individual effort. And as much as I was happy for you guys to win, I was also a little sad to see an amazing effort like that go by the wayside. And after you guys did the handshaking and you did all the obligatory stuff, I saw Cyrus go out and seek that kid on a one-on-one basis and just gave him a hug. And I understand there's a relationship there, but for you to show that much class in a moment where you got 20 guys over here wanting to celebrate this great thing, you took the time to go seek out an individual that was not in his best moment. And those are the kind of people I want to be around with, and I think those are the people you want to have in your program. So, Mr. Strohmeyer, on behalf of Jordan Morales, I would like to will his recognition of seeing a greater goal and putting that greater goal ahead of personal goals. Obviously, kind of killed me now to see him play and participate at the level that he has wanted to and could and everything. But he never let that detract himself, and he was more concerned with what the other 17 guys were doing. And I have to tell you that as a man, that's a very, very important thing to do as you go through life, because I'm going to tell you something and tell all you guys this: life's not always about you. It's about what your surroundings are, what you do to bring something. When you can raise the level of expectation and you recognize that as an individual, it's a wonderful thing. Charlie is not here, but I'm going to do this anyway. On behalf of Mr. Paul, I would like to will upon his calm, steady demeanor. If I was on the Titanic, I'd want Charlie Paul next to me. He has the same demeanor whether he's giving a home run up. And I, again, like Joe, I've lived this poor nightmare with him. Giving up a home run at 400 feet, he had the same reaction whether he gave up the home run or if he got the third out of an important game. His calm, steady nature is something that will serve him well for many, many years. And again, I think it's an invaluable asset. On behalf of Mr. Anthony Sherwood, I will the innate ability to speak without speaking. Let that resonate for a second.
Well said.
I've known Anthony almost as long as I've known Joe, and I think I've had the same amount of conversation and dialogue. But what I did find out from Jordan and some other guys, when no one's around, but I will look at this. Anthony's one of those quiet leaders, and again, everybody talks about leadership. It's the most beat up, drawn out thing in the world. But sometimes you just need guys that set the tone and let their actions speak for themselves, and I think that's a wonderful trait. I hope that carries on in your program. an important one here. I will upon you and your program, on behalf of Jacob Herbeck, 1/10 of your leadership and your heart. And you kind of say, geez, Morales, you're being kind of cheap. What's with the 1/10 stuff? I'm going to tell you that 1/10 of what you have inside of you will go far and will make the average man a great man. And that's just 1/10. I spent the better part of 5 or 6 years communicating with Jacob via on a bucket, and he understood me, he got me, and we didn't always have to talk. Saturday at that championship game, we just walked by and with this pump. And again, I think your leadership skills speak for themselves. So 1/10 of your leadership in your heart. The last one is Mr. Wager, and you touched on it earlier. I've known Colton, and he's probably just going to hate me for saying this, but when we did T-ball together, first coach thing I ever did with some of these guys, we had about 5 guys that in between innings, they just sit in the dugout. They went and sat with mom and dad on the sidelines. To see where Colton started there, the player and the man that he is today, I will upon you and your program his innate ability to continue to improve. You talked about what he's done here in the last couple of years. Magnify that with what I've seen. Frankly, I think in 9 years, 10 years, I've damn near known him as much as his parents have. He's a wonderful young man. That's all I have. I will tell you this. I thank you for the strides you made this year. And I think there's even more for you to strive to. I think it's been a wonderful season for you. I'm not surprised that you guys are where you are, because you guys are a special group of individuals, and I hope that as years go by, this thing is remembered for a long, long time. You guys are a special group. So thank you, and thank you to the parents for indulging me the last 15 minutes or so. It meant a lot to me because we won those games, and it was a special feeling, and to see those guys come full circle, it was really amazing, and just to see everybody kind of grow up and become the men that they are. So thank you so much for everything, guys.
Thank you.